Oh, what's going on right now? Alex said, "Do I have to sing?" I said, "If you're a guest, of course you got to sing." So, Alex, what we rocking with?
I'm gonna rock with a little Casey and JoJo, man. Bringing it back. 90s R&B. Let's do it, bro.
Let's hear
Come
it. Let's hear
on.
it. Let's hear it. Three, two, one, hit it.
I will never find another lover sweeter than you, sweeter than you. And I will never find another lover more precious than you, more precious than you.
Girl,
Girl.
you what?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
good.
my.
Baby, baby. Oh man, that's a classic right there. That is a
Dog.
classic.
Beautiful song. Beautiful song. That's like a wedding song, man. I might have to put that in the archives, man.
That's the wedding song. The other one I think about is like Jagged Edge. It's like meet me in the altar in your white dress. What's up, man? How's everything? How's everything? You got that Josh Hart New York Knicks braids going on kind of right now. This stuff is
Yes,
clean.
sir. Yes, sir. Try to stay fresh. Yeah, man. Oh, but what's going on? I mean, life's great, dude. Running a ton, training, running the biz. Life's good. Yeah, good things going on, man. Second half of the year, I feel like 2025 is just flying by, bro.
So for people that don't know who you are, give a little intro. Who you are, what you do, where you're from, etc. And then we'll start to dive into some questions to get a conversation flowing.
Definitely, man. Yeah, so my name is Dr. Alex Samuel. I'm a physical therapist, originally I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and I grew up on Long Island, New York. And then after, attending PT school, I went to NYIT. So I graduated in 2020. I moved to Florida, where I'm situated now, and worked for an insurance PT clinic. Really great one, and had a great time there. Learned a lot of cool things, but kind of, had a ceiling there, and didn't really align with where the company was going. So I was kind of at a standstill and was like, man, do I even stay in PT? Do I try to do this out on my own? And I ended up going on my own, and now I've been doing Ascend PT. I'm the founder, one man show, so just me doing my thing with Ascend. And I've been doing it for now about a year and 3 months. So yeah, that's where I'm at, man.
Yeah, you were because I remember I think we were talking or we were texting back and forth. You were trying to do like med sales or something like that. You were trying to do something like that, right? I forget what it was.
Yeah, on our discovery call, man, I was like, living down here, I was like, I had a couple buddies that were all in like sales or just like some sort of pharmaceutical sales, medical device sales. I mean, we would have people come to the office that I worked at trying to sell us like, all these gadgets and stuff. So I had people in that space, so that where I was kind of thinking of lateralization to, or just like a pivot, like, well, I know about these things, like, but yeah, I was just in a dark space when I hit you when we were texting, man. I was like, dude, I love PT, but I just feel like it's not like it has to be better. It has to be better than this.
No, for sure, man. And I think that's kind of like that's the one thing I always tell people. Like it's going to be what you make out of it. So many people get bummed out with where they're at, but you just end up victimizing yourself. It's like, oh, why me? Why this? At some point, put all your options out on the table and then figure out like, all right, what do you want to pursue? Right? If this doesn't feel like the profession that you want to be in, then like you got to move on because life's long. You could always recoup your losses in these years, but if you spend the next 30, 40 years not doing something you like, it's like a fucking waste of time. But what ultimately, like, I guess, like, push you towards, like, all right, let's not do med sales, and like, I'm gonna quit this insurance gig that I have and just jump ship.
Yeah, man. Honestly, it was the decision, or I guess the feeling, I should say, of that what if, like I kind of just went into it as if like what, or asked myself like where I'm at right now. I know that if I do nothing or just continue to like be on this hamster wheel of seeing 45 patients a day, like, waking up, feeling these like things that I'm feeling, nothing's going to change. Right. So it was that scratch or like that fear of like, what if, like I felt like, I mean, I think you had a quote, man, like people will not make a change or people will make a change in two scenarios when like the pain of remaining the same is more than the pain of change because people don't really necessarily like change, but that's where I was at, man. Like it was painful to be in the situations I was in. And I was like, if anything, man, like if I fail at this, then at least I can go back and look and be like, hey, like I didn't like have to live in that what if space. So that was really it, man.
Still, man. And I think even when we first started talking, I was like, it was prior to Peter joining Christy and Christy and I were just trying to figure it out. We had like two or three groups that we were kind of mentoring, and I think you fell through the cracks because you were working with somebody else, I think, right, for a little bit.
Yeah, we could get into that, dude. I was working with.
You don't got to no, you don't got to name drop. No name
Yeah,
dropping.
no, no, no. Yeah, no, no. I won't do that. I won't call anybody out. But I was working with two other groups prior to hearing what you guys were doing with. I think you were calling it something different than GGC before.
It was defining moment coaching. It was, I don't know, bro. I was trying to stay on brand, like.
Dude, I love it. I love it, man. The DMC, nice little acronym too. Like it rolls off the tongue. So yeah, you guys were doing that. I was like expressing the frustrations of like I'm really trying this thing, man, but like I'm not resonating with what these other two coaches have been telling me. It's just I don't feel comfortable with it, and I don't feel like it's the way that out out of network cash based PT sales like should be.
Yeah, no, dude, you had like dope growth, and I want to dive into that growth for sure. But let's talk about what like we started in the basement. You know what I mean? Like we were like on the. I felt like you were struggling a bit to hit certain numbers, and you were like, "Man, I just want to get over this hump." But like, where were you when you first started with us? Because I can't. I have a rough estimate in
Yeah,
my memory, but I don't want to go on my memory.
yeah, bro. I was at anywhere from like 5 to maybe my best month was like 8K. And I was like, man, if I could just break like the 10K like mark, then like it'll be great. Like I'll be so happy with like just getting 10K a month. So that's where I was at before I worked with you and Peter. And December, yeah, I think that was like a 5K month for me. That was like on my low end.
Yeah, you started off at this. You like signed up. It was like five. I thought it was six, but you're at five, and then you've been popping off, bro. You've been like, I don't know if you got the numbers in front of you, but like it's been like, I think people normally see like, oh, like I just got to XYZ, this big number, right? But it's like a climb, and you plateau, and then you climb. So like, what was that feeling like? Because I know, we always post our wins. We talk about the monthly recap, and you're like, yo, please, I just want to like. So what was that like?
Oh my gosh, bro. I remember January, right? Because I signed up November and then, December I was still doing my thing. But January is when I was like really all in. I was able to go through the modules, like go through the weekly calls. Like I took it very, very seriously. And January was 14, like 5.
Nice.
And so it was 14.5 January. February was 15. And then March 15, and then April was when I hit like the big goal of like, and I think I put in the group chat, I was like, bro, like go get us coaching got me feeling like a weapon. Like feel like a what I'm like anything can walk in front of me and I can handle it because of what you guys have taught me.
Yo, you were just. I remember you consistently posted. You're just like, man, I just want to break 20. You had 1 month that was super close to 20, right?
Yeah, that was March. March was like 18, like 9 or something. It's like I'm so close.
And then, oh man, I remember you're like, yo, I broke the goal, but it wasn't even the end of the month yet. You were trying to hit 20 for a minute because initially it was at 10K. And I remember everyone in the group was always talking about it. And we have everyone, people obviously doing more, people that are doing less, people kind of in the same ballpark. But whenever you see someone else in the group that's kind of striving for something similar, Yo, I still remember, I get goosebumps thinking about it because everyone was just so happy. So what was that feeling like? Like, what did you hit, and like, how
Yes.
did it feel for you?
Yeah. Oh man, to even just talk about the community and just like having people behind me, bro. Like I felt like it was a playoff run, man. Now we're in like sports. You know, I felt like I was like chasing each game, like felt like game six finals, bro. Like it felt so incredible to just have everybody like behind me and like, you know, rooting me on. And I felt like that gave me more energy into the way I was coming into work, and just like my energy, I think, led on to the patients that were able to help lead them into the right direction, right? Because at the end of the day, like, you know, I know you guys are really big on like, it's not just like hitting this one number, or like that was never like the true goal. It was like, I just want people to see like what they can do in another lens, and I want to be happy about it and, you know, make a good lifestyle off of it. But yeah, that was April, dude. So like I finally hit the 20, but that was like the second week of April, and then I ended up doing 31.5, so 31K in April working with you guys.
And that was just like, that's crazy to think about the start, almost like a 5 to 6x where you're at. What do you feel were like the stepping stones? Oh, first off, when you hit that number, was it like, oh, we got to go to a nice steak? Like, you must have celebrated, right? Like, what was the celebration? Because I always tell people, you got to do something nice for yourself. Treat yourself. You work hard for this.
Yes. Well, hitting that, I was like, damn, man. Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe people won't even think this is a celebration, but I was like, yo, let's go to New York and like, let's run this High Rocks race. Like, that's my celebration. Because, I mean, those tickets are expensive, man. For anybody who's ever done High Rocks, like, you looking at like, bro, after all the fees and stuff, it's like 225 to like essentially suffer, you know, and then like flights and everything. I was like, you know, like me and my girlfriend ended up like signing up to do like the doubles in New York City. It was like one other story, but um, yeah, man, like that was like a big celebration for me. Like, and I kind of looked at it from two ways. I was like, you know, I could like go out, like get a nice steak dinner and kind of like relax and like just soak into like this number. But it was like, once you feel that momentum, it's like, you know, like I want to go out and like do something dope. Like, yeah, I'll celebrate, but I'll celebrate my way. And then also just like keep pushing, right? Like doing the High Rocks thing, I knew would have like continued to like build my brand. And it's something that is truly, I like anyway. So that's how I celebrated, man. Going through High Rocks.
Hey, yo, I think everyone can do something different, right? Like, I remember like the first couple of nice months we had, because we first started our biz, like I was like, I had probably $300 to my name, no savings. And then once we got things rolling, I was like, all right, I'm going to buy a pair of Jordans. Like, I need to, like, I'm going to buy myself a pair of ones. Been wanting this for a minute. But dude, what is like, the biggest lessons that you've learned so far personally? Like, what's helped you get to where you're at now?
Oh, mindset, man. I'll start with that. I feel like from the provider end and the patient side end, it's all a belief game. Like you can go in like hesitant or like thinking like low value, or you're not like worth a certain number or something, or like you're not adequate enough to help this person. But the mindset shift that you and Peter were able to do for myself, all of us in the group, was huge. Like, and it's a paradox, right? Like, there are going to be like days where you're not feeling up for it, or you're feeling like, man, like I'm just grinding, grinding, grinding. But you're building a life that you want to live. You're building a business that you're proud of, and a business that fits into your lifestyle. So there's that paradox, definitely. But I think the mindset, definitely doing the mantras, like no other coaching group, I don't think, man, is like helping their students like build personal mantras. Like that was really dope. And then of course, like the sales part that Peter was able to kill. Man is a savage. Like, so like the way you two just like bounce off each other, man. Like, you know, you with the mindset and like just like really getting us like to believe that we can do these things, and the clinical side of things too. And then Peter on like, okay, you guys have all the tools, and like this is how you go out and become a weapon.
People don't anyone that I talk to, I'm like, man, if you're talking like sales, like obviously there's some phenomenal salespeople, right? Like I know some people that are absolute savages, but when it comes to like physical therapists that understand sales, I don't know that many people that can touch Peter. Like Peter is unbelievable at sales, and I think the one thing he does really well is just hold people accountable. Like for the coaching side from Peter, like what was that like for you? Like what shocked you about that?
Oh man, what shocked me about the coaching side? I mean, I would say just like how comfortable he made it feel. Like one, because I feel like PTs like we get in this profession, especially coming from an insurance side, you're used to everybody just saying yes to you. Like you're used to everybody working with you. You got post-op ACL. It's like, oh yeah, like we'll do this. This is going to take anywhere from 9 months to a year. Like sure, yeah, like everything's good, But that same scenario of like on the cash end, like Peter makes it like that whole step-by-step process of like the way that he talks through the pain to performance, right? Like pain prime performance, like that module, and like the way how he just maps everything out, and you let the person in front of you just come to that decision of like, like how do you feel about this? Like just leaving it on them and like having them come to their own decision. I was just blown away by it, dude.
Yeah, man. And most people think sales is like you're forcing someone to do something they don't want to do. It's really helping people make better decisions, right? Based off of like what you're able to offer them. So I think laying out the plan and asking questions and allowing them to have a say in it, it doesn't sound like sales, but it makes such a huge difference. And then mindset wise, like mantras, what are we talking about mantras? What'd you get into there?
Oh, dude. I mean, for anyone like listening to the podcast, it's like thinking about GGC. Like, bro, I say go all in. like, but Andy, did these modules. I mean, like, and like where he'll come in with some game, and like a few of the modules, it's just like he will get so personal with us, and like you feel some things, man. Like he gets deep. so one of them was, I want you. He asked us to all think about like a time where we felt like everything was in flow, everything was going well for us, and I had shared. Maybe I was like one of the first people to share, but when I first opened up the business, kind of similar to you, man. Like I didn't have much in the savings. Actually, the week that I opened, it was like one of my best friends, like his wedding, and I actually had like I remember being on the flight, like being getting inquiries, like people saw that I did this business, and I'm like, damn, I can't treat them. Like I got maybe had like $700 like in my checking account, dude. And like I was like, do you want to run this business? And I'm on this flight going to this wedding. What am I doing? Like, but I had all those like negative thoughts in my head, man. And then I remember you asking us about like a time where everything was in flow. So during that time, I was running like masters track and field, and I remember like the support that I had from like my community and the people that wanted to work with me one on one. And I ran that race, was able to podium, and I felt like so great about it. And like he's seeing everybody cheer me on. Uh, in that moment, looking into the crowd, I remember stating on the call, like I felt limitless, and I take that with me. So then with the mantra, whenever I feel like things are hard or feel like there's an obstacle or like I'm only seeing problems, I'll tell myself that my limits are illusions. Um, geez, yeah, my limits are illusions. I redefine what's possible, and I'll just say that in the mirror like 5 to 10 times, and I'm just ready to crush the day.
Dude, it's the weirdest thing, right? And like most people would be like, "Oh, this stuff is bullshit," but the average human being has about 5,000 to 12,000 thoughts per day. And the average human being, 80% of those thoughts are negative. So whenever someone's like, yo, how do you become confident? Like, how can you help me build confidence? I'm like, how do you talk to yourself, bro? Like, like what are the words you say to yourself, And like, if they're not polite, if they're not bringing you up and making you feel like different potentials or possibilities, you're just never going to get there. If you watch some of the best athletes in the world, you watch people on the track, you watch people play basketball, they just keep telling themselves, you got this, you were built for this, right? But what do we tell ourselves? Oh, you're not valuable, you're not doing enough. Like, no, like you got to bring yourself up.
Yeah.
What did that feel like doing it initially? Because it's probably like,
It felt very weird. It felt weird at first, like talking to yourself. But like you said, man, the best athletes in the world, like you can look up on YouTube, like they have mantras, like they talk to themselves. They will like talk themselves up before going out and competing. And if they're doing things at the highest level and we're trying to do things at the highest level, or at least at a higher level than we're currently doing, then hell yeah, like let's put in our arsenal as well.
yeah. What are some lessons that you've learned so far where you're like, I did not expect this, or like, oh man, that shit hurt, but I'm glad I went through that.
Ooh, the structure end, man, like the KPI master sheet, like because I think that's a big thing, dude. That like a lot of entrepreneurs in general, like PT, even outside of PT, like you'll leave your job where people are probably higher up are tracking these things, but once you go out on your own, like at least I didn't know, man. Like, damn, I have to track all this shit. Like, how many leads came in? Like, what was the plan of care to like eval conversion? What was the lead to eval conversion? Like, having those numbers like set up was insane. Like, that was super eye opening for me, dude.
Because honestly, because I remember the call that the weekly call. So the way the structure works, like you have one group call with your small group. So Alex will be a part of a group, and then I run an office hour one day on Tuesdays, and Peter runs a sales call on Wednesdays. And we'll always talk shop during office hours. Office hours is a little bit of everything. I try to come in with something that I can teach for 20, 30 minutes, go into Q&A. But when Alex hit that month, I remember someone in the group was like, yo, what was the biggest change for you? And Alex said, yo, the dashboard, right? Because the dashboard showed me what to focus on. But what was that like in the dashboard? What did you see?
Yeah. So, like having those numbers laid out in front of you, you can really see what your bottleneck is because you can try to like be like, oh, I need to do more marketing, or oh, I need more leads, or like, oh, I need to like buy this machine and like, and market it. But like having the dashboard and actually seeing like what the revenue was, what your like hourly rate was, like how many leads came in, what was the lead to eval conversion, what was the eval to plan of care conversion, right? Like I was able to see like, oh wow, like I'm actually really good at converting someone who's in front of me into a plan of care. That month that I was hitting 15K, I only had maybe like 15 leads. Let me do a workshop, which I did that next month in April to get more leads. Let me just talk to more people, and if I can keep the same eval to plan of care conversion, it'll equal this number, and it fucking happened, dude. That shit happened.
So yeah, and people are like, oh, duh, you get more leads, like you'll be okay, you're gonna have a better business. But what people don't realize is like, let's say you have, we'll use easy numbers. You get 10 leads coming through the door. With those leads, five of them schedule an eval, and then you have two that book an eval, and you have zero conversions, right? Like those people don't need to do more you can keep up the same marketing cadence that you're doing. You should work on your sales skills, right? So that you can nail those things down. Because if you start doing more marketing, but you're not converting people to discovery calls, you're not converting people to evals, and then full plan of cares, it's like, what's the point, right? You got a bottomless bucket. You just keep trying to put water into. But that's the dashboard, like I love that. Because it's hard to see sometimes in the beginning, right? You're like, yo, bro, I'm just filling out numbers, and some months it's not good. But like as you keep filling it out, I think I don't know. I just think like whatever you start to put some attention on, it starts to open up. It starts to expand a bit more.
Yeah, man, really helps map it out.
Where when you were starting, were you skeptical at all? Like, were you like, damn, is this shit gonna be worth? Like, did you have any kind of like anything like that going in the back of your head?
Yeah, great question. So I will say, like, because I did like moment ed, like like moment education, I wasn't skeptical about like because Peter was in moment education, like you did moment education, and that was phenomenal. So I was like, whatever these guys put out, like, is awesome. So I had that in the back of my head when I was making the decision. So I wasn't like skeptical about it at all. On the other end, I would say, like, just devil's advocate, like I could have been skeptical because like I was burned by two other like coaching companies on the business end. This is like my first like business coaching um, experience with you guys, not just like the clinical education side of things. But nah, dude, I was not skeptical at all. Like on the discovery call, Peter laid everything out, made it seem uh, like any question I had, he was able to answer easily. Like it wasn't sleazy at all or anything. Like I knew that it was something that I wanted to do.
The the whole process, like at the end of the day, I think one thing I always try to coach you guys on and like talk to people about is like at some point you just got to realize like you got to sell the way you buy. Like how do you like to do business, right? Like you're someone that's pretty genuine. You like things to be told, like lay it out on a table. Just tell me like it is, right? Like
Yeah.
don't give me some weird stuff like that. And some people you do need to do some objections and things like that. But other people, it's like you've built long term trust. Let's just be completely honest. What are the expectations? What to expect and stuff, right? Because like, you see all these ads sometimes where it's like, you're gonna get to this really quickly, and I'm like, bro, this is tough. This is like it's gonna be a grind, So I I always think about that. It's like I'm from New York, you're from New York. We just like it like cut and dry. Tell me like it is. Don't sugarcoat this stuff. If you tell me that it's difficult, I appreciate the honesty, and I'm still gonna be okay with it.
Mhm.
Like I like that approach. But it's obviously hasn't been like super like sunshines and rainbows. Like you obviously gone through some stuff. Like has there been times where you like doubted the process and you're like, oh,
Yeah, I would say not doubting the process, like not doubting the coaching that I was receiving from you guys, but definitely were some dark times where it was like, or at least like, damn, this is way harder than I thought it was going to be. Like, there were definitely like situations where it was shh, like this is hard. End of the day, this is so much harder than what I was doing before.
yeah, you'll spend more time working for yourself than working for someone else, at least for the first couple of years before you start to, offload and delegate those things. But it's the price you pay for entrepreneurship. But from
Yeah.
like a skill set perspective, like how do you look at your growth from like, when you first started?
Oh my gosh, a million X, like a million X, man. Like I feel like the skills that I was able to develop through working with you guys are something that's always going to be a part of me. So end of the day, like I feel like I have a great day. I have like a bad day. Um, the skills that I was able to acquire, like bro, I feel like again like a weapon. Honestly, that's the best way to put it, man. That's the best way to put it. I feel like even if I didn't do PT, like whatever, 10 years down the line or something like that, just the mindset skills that I was able to develop, the sales skills I was able to develop, and the confidence that I was able to build, man, I feel like I can walk into any industry and feel valuable.
That's exactly, when we go through calls and like we like chop it up and mess around, like, you develop these random skills. Like you're learning how to speak to a group, you're learning how to write a little bit better, you're learning how to shoot content in a way that might attract the right client that you want, like all these things. It's not about stuff that just like resonates with physical therapy. Like you're literally just trying to become like a better operator, a better entrepreneur that can expand to different stuff. You're probably like, man, maybe you should look into sales, like like because I think you mentioned that to Peter, right? You're like, yo, I'm loving sales right now.
Yeah, I did, man. It was like probably like yeah, one of like our one-on-ones. I was like, dude, like I freaking love this stuff. Like I get like hyped, like closing someone. Like, I can't explain it, but it's the damn truth, dude. Like,
Dude, there's nothing like feeling, it's kind of, I always say like when like CrossFitters go into the pain cave, like and they smile, it's like, oh damn. And it's like, all right, this person goes into sales and they're like, it's not pressure, it's just like fun, it's the game, right? And I think that's a great way to like look at everything. Like if you look at it as like win or lose, it sucks. But if you look at stuff as like how can I make this fun, how can I make this shit like an adventure, it's like, all right, cool, I put my stuff on the dashboard right now, but I can't wait to see the level up. I can't wait to see these numbers trend in the right direction.
Yeah.
What is your like any like frameworks or mindsets that you've developed yourself personally while you're like, yo, when I encounter this, I just think about it like this now.
Yeah, man. One framework that I feel like I'm recently like starting to utilize a lot more is when I make a decision, rather than looking at it on like the negative side of like, I feel like commonly like, you look at something and it's like, oh, what's the worst that could happen, if I do this? And you kind of like think like that's the right way to go about it. Like, oh, then you start listing out all this negative stuff, right? But like, I kind of flipped it and I start asking myself, what's the best that could happen? Because right now, like the situation is what it is. Like maybe you like where you're at, maybe you don't like where you're at. But if you do nothing, you'll stay right there. I ask myself, what's the best that could happen? Now I start listing out all these positive things. And then it's like, hmm, just build on that. And then it's like, okay, yeah, I want to move forward with it. So that's the recent framework that I've been utilizing, or a question I've been asking myself, dude. And then the other framework of just like your self worth, like or the boundaries that you set for yourself, right? One thing that I think you said in the call that actually dropped to like an eval that like I mean actually made her move forward. Which is, I think you said, man, it's like, hey, look, at the end of the day, um, I'm gonna like paraphrase, but like at the end of the day, like whether you decide to work with me or not, like it really won't change my life. Like respectfully, it won't. But I know based on what we found here and what I'd be able to provide you, I could change your life. And just leaving it at that is just like freaking awesome, right? I think, where it's like, yo, like you are providing a high level service, a very bespoke service, this one-on-one like performance PT model. And it's like, yeah, we do some great shit. We do change people's lives. Like we do something that is super valuable to the right person. And we don't think that, but in reality, like, yo, it's so important. So like, whether that person taking that framework, that mindset of like, whether you work with me, like I'm gonna continue to do great work out here. Like I'm gonna be okay. I know I'm gonna be okay. Like, do you want to move forward? Like, do you want to stay where you're at now, or do you want to change your life? Like,
That's fire. That's fire. And I had a call. We had our small group call recently, and I said the same thing. Just kind of reframing like what we do, right? Like if you work with runners, how many steps do you take within a given run? 10K, 20K, 30K, sometimes within a given run. Do you want to make every single one of those steps as efficient as possible, right? Or do you want to keep carrying on with what you're doing, right? You're coming to me because obviously things are not agreeing with you. The body doesn't agree with you. Every single step doesn't agree with you. Do you want to keep running like that? Or do you want to make sure that you get these things fixed and addressed so that every single time you run, you know how to make things feel better? If you do a deadlift, how many times are you going to deadlift, right? You're going to deadlift thousands and thousands of reps for the rest of your life. So while what you're saying, like, oh yeah, this treatment that you're providing is expensive, you know what's more expensive? Doing deadlifts wrong thousands and thousands of times. You know what's really expensive? Taking a bad step constantly, just putting loads to your body that doesn't agree with you, right? So like, yeah, I get it. It's definitely expensive. But it sounds like you've tried all the cheaper options. You've done insurance physical therapy so many times already, right? So why not try something that is going to be a little bit more expensive, but it's going to push you along so much further. It's going to stop wasting your time. All you can list these things on and on and on, but that's one of the, if you can get that closed, that shit is so gangster, right? Because some people would be on the fence and they're talking themselves out of it. It's like, listen, like we found a million different ways that we can help you and start to scale you up, to doing what you want to do. So it's completely up to you, right? Like my life, I'm still going to keep helping people day in and day out. Like I love what I do, but do you want to still keep running in pain? Do you still want to have your back pain hurt whenever you deadlift? If not, we can change that. But if you want to choose to go on that way, I don't want to hold you back.
Dude, this podcast is gonna make someone 20K.
I guess me too.
That alone right there, I'm telling you, man, like just that mindset right there. Like for sure.
You just got to get to the point where you truly, truly believe in what you do, right? And there's so many different ways to go about it. But if you don't start with a talk, if you don't step back and realize that like at some point someone's written your review and be like, yo, Alex, I was in so much pain and I tried everything underneath the sun and I went to see you and you've changed my life. I've worked with, consulted for a lot of different companies, different startups. And one of the first questions I always ask people is like, you got this cool recovery studio that you're thinking about opening. I love it. How do you change someone's life? Right? I don't care about your media deck that you're about to show me. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. You got all these cool keywords and stats, but like, how do you change someone's life based off of your product? Right. And if you can't answer that question for me, you don't need to be there, because the only business that are going to survive are the ones that are changing people's lives. And a good thing for us is like, there's no amount of AI that's going to show you the specific squat cues and hinges that you need, or how the foot moves and plyometric progressions, all these things. And, you know, everyone's got different reasons why they're in pain. Everyone's got different cues that they need. And what we provide, if you do it at a very high level, is super individualized care. So I love that you're talking your talk, man. You get crushing it.
100%, dude. I love it. I love it. Thank you.
So what's in the cards now for you? Like, what are you thinking about for the remainder of the year? What are you working on? What's exciting you?
Yeah, man. Signed up for a half marathon in November. So that's a ways out. So I'm trying to get a couple more events under my belt. Prior to that, I would love to run another High Rocks. Um, so that's like on the personal, like fitness end. And then in terms of the business, dude, um, I'm really like, I like where I'm at. Like I'm still building 100%. I still feel like there's areas of my business that I could still grow in. Um, but you know, talking about like even that conversation I had with Peter, man, like, being able to like help someone find the solution when they're at a loss or just have all these options in front of them, and being able to point them in the right direction, whether it's with like my company or like someone else, and just like having that feel good feeling. Um, Man, like, I would love to like even just help on the go getters coaching side of things, man. Like that's something that I could see for myself too. Like, just helping people like realize like what they're getting through a company like you guys have been able to build, man. So I know that that's going to be something that's super valuable. And like end of the day, like, um, I feel like I work very well in a team, and I love what I've been able to build. But do I necessarily want to like go out and build like a moment like PTP, Motion RX? Like I don't know yet. Like doesn't really like align with like what I had set out with Ascend. Like I love what I'm doing. I love how I've been able to build like a comfortable work life balance for myself and help people at a very high level. But yeah, man, like SDR for GGC, that could be a little side quest. Who knows?
Hey, I love it, man. And I think there's just so many. It's like if you're gonna do it, you got to do it, right? So I respect your decision, because if you're like, yo, this doesn't necessarily resonate with me, I don't think I want to build into multiple locations, multiple clinicians. You're living your life, you're loving what you do, and like there's a couple of things that are actually interesting you more potentially. You love helping people from the clinical side, but you also want to fill up like a different bucket. So I love that, man. I think there's definitely some alignment. The I think at some point you realize like some of the biggest pains that you felt in your life, you want to be able to provide those solutions for others, right? So
Hundred
like
percent.
you're feeling burnt out, it's like you can connect with someone on probably on an even deeper level just because you've been through that yourself. With the sales side of things, like it. What's the what's your fit? Like, what's the thing that like gets you so amped up? Like, is it like while you're doing it, like you just feel like you're in flow, or like what happens when you're in like sales?
Oh man, I feel like almost, yeah, like I think it's the best way to describe it. Like I'm in flow. Like it just feels like I'm maybe like I'm spitting game, bro. Like, and it's like all good, truthful stuff. Like it's not like, sleazy or anything like that. Like I'm really just helping someone map out where they are now, where they want to be, what they're currently doing, what they're missing, and building that bridge for that person. Like I just love that, man. Like I just like I'm a super curious person, like in PT, like, I really love like doing the eval, figuring out like what exactly is gonna help them. And then from the sales component, I like flip that into like a decision making process of helping that person come to a decision. So like I just love like the exploration of it, man. Like that really hypes me up.
No, it's such a natural. And people say like, "Oh man, sales is so weird," right? But like, if you're a really good PT, you're already doing sales when you're mentioning your plan of care to somebody, right? Like that's what sales is, right? Sales isn't like selling something they don't need. It's like legitimately, this is where you are, this is where you want to be. These are all the stepping stones that you have to take in order to get to X, Y, Z. And these are some limitations that you might be able to you might face, or some barriers you might have to overcome. And I can help you navigate all of those things. Does that sound like something you're looking for? Yes. Well, perfect. Let's get it. Right? No. Okay. So tell me, what are you looking for? Like it's just it's a dance, and
Yeah.
dancer in real life. But I love the sales dance. I love the communication dance. That
No.
happens.
That's a really great point, Andy. Like, I mean, not even like looking at it, you kind of just uncovered it, but like, PTs, even probably an insurance setting, man, you're probably selling a patient an idea on an exercise, right? Of like why this one exercise will help you do XYZ activity. Like certain people probably like, oh, like, that looks dumb, or I don't want to do that. Like, but it's like, well, if you want to get back to XYZ, then yeah, we have to do this one hinge like exercise so that you can bend down, pick up your kid, man. Like, so like even that component is sales.
Sales, talking to your significant other, where you want to go eat, where you want to go travel for vacation, everything. If you want to really go somewhere, you got to be able to sell that idea, paint that picture. Oh man. So you ever coming back to New York, or you staying you're Florida forever now?
Oh, dude. I mean, shoot, 10-year plan. I'd love to do the snowbird thing. I mean, we'll see if like kids and all that are down the line because obviously like with schooling and whatnot. I would love for my kids to grow up in New York rather than down here for other reasons. But yeah, man, I love New York, greatest city in the world, like hands down. Like I'm a New Yorker through, like thick and through, dude. Like so I mean, I know my family's there, so I would love to come back. But what I've been able to like build out here in the community of South Florida has been really special too. So we'll see, dude. We'll see.
Is there anything that you feel like you've had it where you realize, well, like, man, I'm so happy I was kind of like this prior to getting started? Like, is there any traits or strengths where you feel like I'm super pumped that I've had this since I was like a kid, and it's helped me kind of get to where I'm at right now?
Ooh, good question. Um, like growing up, you
Yeah.
mean? Um, growing up, man, I would say like my parents, like, because like I was born in Brooklyn, and I moved out to Long Island when I was like maybe like 4 or 5 years old. But they worked a lot. They would still work in Brooklyn, so I spent a lot of time with my babysitter. And like at the babysitters, like early '90s, it was like this Puerto Rican chick, and it was like friggin' I had Jewish kids. I was around Indian kids, Asian kids. It was like, and we're all just talking, right? And like culturally, like there's different foods that like your parents will like bring up for you. So I think like growing up in like that melting pot and like being with all these different cultures and being able to like be around that, communicate like from a very young age, like all these differences, um, I think is something that like shaped me into like who I am today and like how I navigate, like how I communicate with other people.
I love that, man. Dude, I would say you're definitely someone that's got great energy, very charismatic, and I've known it since we first met up at the Astoria track. I'm like, man, this guy genuinely wants to help other people because Alex and I met up at the track and I couldn't ace skip for the life of me, but he was helping me. I was like a little bit post pandemic,
Yeah.
but up on a Astoria track. But yeah, Alex is just that guy. Like straight up, I felt that energy right from the jump. It wasn't like judgmental or anything. You were just like, oh man, like I could really provide some value here. You did in a way, you coached me up and made me feel like not bad, about stuff. So I really appreciated that.
Oh, and you're a savage now, dog. You're killing it, man. Maybe jump
Hey,
higher than me now.
now let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy. But yo, any last thoughts? If someone's on the fence, about joining or thinking about GGC, like, what are you thinking? Like, what would you want to say to someone like that?
Straight up, man. Like, there's nothing to be on the fence about. And shoot, I mean, if you own a business, like, you got to spend money to make money, and these guys will definitely make you money. So do it. Don't hesitate. Like, you got to take out a 0% APR credit card, 15 months, run a play like that. Hey, like, that could be the play because you will make your money back, man. Sign up for GGC. Don't hesitate.
Oh man, the 0% APR, that was definitely a play. When we opened up the clinic, we did a little 0% APR, collected a couple, points, paid it off. But yo, Alex, appreciate you. We got one last thing. August 9th, we got a live event in Orlando, Florida. So August 9th to the 10th, we're going to be breaking down everything. I'm going to be talking about how I produce 50 pieces of content every single week, doing minimal work. Christy's going to be breaking down some tax strategies, how to save you guys some money. That alone will cover the cost of the weekend. We got sales conversion. We got objection handling. Peter's going to be breaking down ads, the sales stuff. I'll be talking through mindset. We got a guest speaker. We got a bunch of dope people that'll be pulling up and just hanging out for the weekend. But it's one of those weekends, man, where you'll come, life will change. You get to connect with some dope people. But if you're interested in that, at Go Getters Coaching on Instagram, just shoot us live on the DM, capital LIVE, and then I'll send you the invite. And Alex, any last words, man?
Yo, go get it, man. Go out and get it. That's
Go
it.
out and get it. And what's the line we always say? What do we always do?
We always win, baby.
You already know. Alex, appreciate you, brother, and see you soon.
All right, I'll see you, Andy. Peace.